YouTube, thank you for joining me for another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about why the devil does not want you to isolate or self-isolate. Now, there's a lot of statistics and studies out right now that are showing the detriment of men and women isolating themselves, and a lot of it has to do with social media and people just getting on their phones and really just disconnecting from society. That's not necessarily what I'm talking about. Because even when you do that, even when you're in a state of trance, you're basically a bot, you're a robot, you're just glued to your phone, your screen time's just ridiculous, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 hours. You're looking for a way to escape. And that's not the isolation that I'm talking about. Because when you're finding a way to escape, you're not focused on the season of isolation and why you should be isolating yourself. You're in a perpetual habit of either boredom or addiction, whatever the issue is that you're dealing with. Again, that's not what I'm talking about, because even when you're stuck in that cycle, you're going to be talking to the people and you're going to be associating with the crowds of people and the environments that you shouldn't even be going to or associating yourself with to begin with. The next thing that I'll really touch on is when you find yourself in a season of isolation, it's so hard to cut people out of your life. And genuinely, I mean, not replying to the group chat, not showing up to certain events, not associating with people at school. And people are going to think that you're hating, that something's wrong with you. And you can't really even go a full quarter. You can't really go a full 4 months of isolation without someone thinking there's something wrong with you. I mean, and then even if you try to give them a heads up, like, hey, I'm going to, for 90 days, 120 days, like, you just don't want to announce it. I wouldn't want to announce it. And anytime I have tried to, private friend group, hey, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, it might have not been the right friend group to tell, who knows, but I never ended up accomplishing it. The only time I ended up accomplishing it was during 2020, when everyone themselves was so in their own little world that I had a chance to, still keep in touch with people maybe I shouldn't have kept in touch with. But overall, I went on a version of monk mode, pretty hardcore. I'm not here to talk about monk mode, but I am, because the season of isolation does correlate with the two topics. And when you go into that, the reason why I bring the devil into the whole video is because when you go into that season of isolation, you start to see that the people that really bothered you, the people that really not necessarily even bothered you, but just they could have had the right intentions, saying something to you, giving you advice. But if you are clicking on this video, I truly believe you're here to receive value on the fact that the devil is those distractions. The devil is working through those people. In my opinion, I believe that spirit is working in other people or other things or other situations to keep pulling you back in, whether it's going to the bars, whether it's, you could be, and I know this firsthand, being in an industry, being in corporate America, where your coworkers and everyone is doing a certain kind of, maybe substance, or everyone's got some kind of addiction, and you just fall into this paradigm of a perpetual cycle of, you look up, it's January 25, next thing you know, it's January 2026, and you're just like, where did the time go? Okay, cool, I hit sales goals, but everyone still seems to be the same. Maybe someone gets a better car, maybe someone gets a bigger house, but just mentally and spiritually and physically, generally, you'll see people get worse. And for me, being in the sales industry, what I would find is a lot of coworkers would be so on and off, and me myself, of course, but just on and off of just constantly getting on the grind, going to the gym, showing up early for work, doing really good at following up, and the next thing you know, the month after, the next 2 months, we just, decline. Then we get a good month and we go incline. So I don't know if you guys can maybe relate to that in terms of the industry, but I believe that the devil is just those distractions, those little, I wouldn't even call them, I guess you could call them addictions. Whatever it is, there's little things that he is poking at you, whether it's, again, a coworker, whether it's it could be just smoking, it could be just scrolling on your phone, it could be simply not having the willpower to wake up in the morning and just not put your phone, or to just set a timer on your phone, to not look at your phone the first thing whenever you wake up. So those are a couple things that are the actual distractions. But when you feel, I guess what I'm really trying to say here is, when you feel like it's time to isolate and you just can't seem to pull away, like, for whatever reason, the narcissistic parent or the toxic ex-girlfriend or whatever paradigm keeps playing over in your life, right? It just seems to keep coming back. Like, just no matter how sick and tired you get and you feel, and you're like, I'm done, I'm not going to reach back out to this person. They end up calling you. They end up calling you 2-3 days in a row. They end up, reaching out to your parents and asking, hey, is so-and-so okay? Is Nathan okay? It's just weird, dude. It's just so weird. I know I cannot be the only one feeling like this paradigm of the devil. And I really believe it's the devil. You could call it whatever you want, but he keeps trying to pull you in back to this old you, back to this person that you were, the person that you're sick and tired of, the person that you keep trying to change. It takes a lot of gratitude and being humble to realize the situation you're in, to realize that you're not where you want to be, you're not the man that you want to be. And in some ways, depending on how hard you are on yourself, depending on how much you believe in yourself, some people are going to beat themselves up more than others. And you could have friends, you could have acquaintances, you could have coworkers tell you, dude, for your age, for what you're doing in life, you're great, you're doing fine. Man, and it's not to brag or anything, but I've had a few people tell me that. And maybe they've told me that because they want to boost my ego, they want to boost my spirits. But regardless, it's that compliment really didn't mean anything to me, because in my heart I knew I was not trying the hardest I could at the gym. I was not on my diet as much as I could. I was not resisting the lust. There was a lot of things that I was not doing. But I believe that my heart was in the right place, and I kept trying, and I kept trying, and I kept trying, and the influences kept coming back, and they kept coming back. And that's why I mentioned the devil, because, dude, I'm fighting it so hard, and then it's like stuff just keeps happening to where I get pulled back into the paradigm of being the old me. And that could be a lesson that I'm trying to teach myself. And maybe it's not the devil, right? Maybe it is just simply my higher self trying to teach me the same lesson over and over again until I learn it. Again, the perspective is really, it's relevant, but in this particular case, just do the work. Just isolate yourself. Just start reading. Start picking up the camera, making content. whatever it is you feel like you need to do, whatever it is you feel like you need to study for, you need to indulge yourself in, just go do it. And when you get the backlash from not replying to certain people, or you just maybe, you may even scare people where it's like, dude, what happened to this guy? What happened to this girl? Like, where's she at? And you're deep in your Bible, you're deep in a certain literature, a certain topic that you're learning more about, and you feel your consciousness elevate. You start feeling way better when you wake up in the morning. Maybe you start implementing certain habits. The point is, all of this is hard to accomplish, meaning all of this, I mean, all of those things to create the new you. Creating the new you is so hard to accomplish when you have the old people in your life, when you have the old paradigm, the old reality, and those people have a certain perception of you. So when you're interacting with them, they're going to pull you down to that old paradigm of yourself and how you act and what you do. And it's okay. And sometimes they really don't mean any harm. And sometimes it's a little toxic to look at them as vessels of the devil that are trying to keep you back. So, you know, be careful with how you look at things. I'm not trying to be pessimistic and use the use Satan as like a, it's I really enjoyed the book. I've listened to it almost 3 times now, Outwitting the Devil. And it's one of those books, it's by Napoleon Hill, and in the audio book it switches from, I'm not sure if it's actually Napoleon Hill reading it or if it's just a random author reading it, but there's someone reading it and then it switches to the devil's voice. And when you know your enemy, when you know the strategic plans that the enemy has, when you're able to look at their blueprint, you know, it's like if you were a kid and you played Halo or Call of Duty, or you shared the screen whenever your friend came over, and you'd be screen watching. Well, if you could screen watch them, then you know everything they're gonna do. So that's really my point, is you get a perspective of the enemy. When I talk about stuff like this, when you put it in the light, or rather the dark, that it's the devil attacking you, there's maybe, I don't know if it's anger, but there's a certain kind of energy that you get that makes you want to, it just gives you a little bit more faith. It gives you a little bit more courage to stand up, a little bit more strength when you know you're being attacked, because it gets your defenses up a little bit. But it helps me take more action when I know that it's not just my mind. Sometimes people blame it on their mind. Sometimes they'll even blame it on God, right? But when I look at it from the perspective of the devil is only going to attack people that are trying to do good things to honor and bring glory to God's name, and then that video cut off as soon as I said that, because I had storage full on my phone. So, it actually completely took me off of what I was trying to finish the video with at 13 or so minutes. So boom, there you go. That's crazy. That's pretty crazy. So just look at it from the perspective of you're being attacked, because you are. If you feel it, you are. If it's in your gut and you clicked on this video, then you are. And it's a good thing, meaning that you're doing something good, right? And you're fighting for something that you believe in. And I think that's ultimately what's going to give you the courage and the strength to do whatever it is that you want to do in your life. And as long as you keep God first, I think you'll be just fine. So I'm going to leave the video at that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry for cutting it off. I mean, I didn't clear the storage on my phone before I started the video. I figured I had enough time, but it's just, a little ironic how that cut off there. So guys, I appreciate you tuning in for the video. I'm going to be releasing a video Monday through Friday. I haven't necessarily pinpointed a time yet, but I'm just going to make sure I get at least 5 videos out on this channel. And you know, anything after will be kind of just gravy. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I really do. Love the comments. Thank you guys so much for leaving likes and leaving comments and talking about your situation. You guys are awesome. It's helping me out more than you possibly would ever imagine. So I think this is my 12th or 13th video. I'm going to stay as consistent as possible. Hopefully I've got a move coming up here pretty soon, but again, Monday through Friday, whether it's in this room, whether it's in my truck, I'll figure out a way to get you guys some content and try to genuinely bring as much value as possible as I try to always do. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you so much for tuning into the video. God bless, and please tune in for the next one. I'll be dropping it tomorrow. You guys have a good Monday. Take care.